go time. All these friends become enemies now.
Let's rumble!
The chainsaw artist has to look at the piece of wood and determine what he's going to pull out of it. You know, I believe Michelangelo said, he goes, he saw an angel trapped in the rock. All he had to do is set it free.
I get the right music in there and I just like to get going, and then I forget all the things that are bothering me and I just get artistic and get going. I'm in the groove.
These guys are doing North American wildlife, and so I'm sure they've been studying books, movies, pictures.
I love the theme, love it. This is great, right up my alley. I like doing wildlife animals.
But as you look around, all the pieces are different. You know, there's really no two that you can pick out that are extremely the same. Even if it's bears, there's different styles of bears. There's no two pieces that can be called similar. So I think everybody nailed the originality.
One carver that's doing the buffalo here, and he took his log and he's carving it on flat ways versus vertically. He's carving it horizontally, and then he's going to mount it on top of the base. That's a very unique technique, very difficult technique. But I think right now that they're in the zone, they're focusing on their piece. So I think probably one of the biggest things is not architecturally designing your piece and marking out where, hey, I can't go past this point, otherwise I'm not going to have enough wood to do my next part of my carving. I think overcutting, taking too much wood away might be probably the biggest problem.
One of the things I probably carry on the most is the way I block out first initial cuts and stuff like that. Obviously that's where watching my dad over the years has really given me, and it's given me an advantage because my dad's very fast.
Proportion and anatomy, I'm big on. I like things to look like what they're supposed to look like. You know, a black bear is more wedge-shaped, and a grizzly or a brown bear, their nose tips up at the end. So, you know, you try to remember everything that you've learned about that animal, you know, the skeletal structure, everything. I know what I'm going for now. There's no more surprises.
So you carve about 6 or 7 steps ahead of the cut you're making. All it takes is one bad cut and things change drastically.
Some of the guys, take for instance Bob King, he's the defending champion, and he's probably feeling a little pressure on defending his championship.
And yeah, there's a lot of pressure on me. I feel it. It's like being the biggest guy in the bar. Somebody's always out to get you, and I'm glad they're here because we wouldn't grow without it, without the competitive air, without these guys wanting my butt.
Well, we're on day 2 of the carve. Some of the guys have started their finishing processes.
First day I just strive for whatever proportion I can get, as long as the calves and thighs and everything on each leg are all the same, you know.
When you do clothing, you want to make sure that it's not all just blah. You have to have kind of a real eye for folds and wrinkles, and then of course then it's that texture that you put on top of it.
There might be some guys that are just happy to be here, you know, not really thinking too much about the pressure of the event.
I've done enough competitions to know that you don't get, there's no sense in worrying about it or getting yourself all in a ruffle. What's going to happen is going to happen.
Yeah, I definitely feel anxious to get going. Oh, definitely things you got to fix.
You really have a real representative picture here of the diversity of chainsaw carving and the diversity of the artists. I think this contest this year is just spectacular.
Good morning, yeah, it's D-Day. Do or die.
We're at crunch time. It's the guys are just kind of finishing up their last little finishing touches. Probably thinking, wow, I should have done this or that to it.
You know, Josh, you could work on a piece for months, I guess, if you really wanted to, depending on what you're trying to accomplish. But in this type of event, you're going to try to key on certain things. People are going to, the judge is going to be looking for certain things, so you want to make sure those things they're looking for are done and completed.
Well, they're probably getting nervous right about now. Maybe looking at the other guy's pieces. What do I got on him? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What are his weaknesses? But at this point, I think they've finished their job. They've done their best. Sometimes in a competition, you might want to keep touching something up, and you get too attached to it. I think that at some point you just gotta say, okay, that's it. I'm done. It's out of my hands now. Some of them will be working up right to the last minute, I suspect. Right to the last second, they're gonna have to blow the whistle and pull the guy away from his carving.
That's the end, ladies and gentlemen. You've been watching the 2007 Echo Carving Championship, and now it's time for judging.
All the pieces are first place contenders.
This year's winner is entitled All Creatures Great and Small, Mr. Bob King!
I think it's kind of funny because we get to play with the sharpest tools in the shed and make pretty things out of them, out of wood, so that's the fun of it.